You've seen this happen. Your phone is fine indoors, 70% battery, no warnings, no problems. Then you step outside into the cold. Within minutes, the battery drops. 50%, 30%. Sometimes it shuts off completely. You go back inside, warm it up. Suddenly the battery comes back. Same phone, same battery, same charge. So what just happened? Most people reach for the obvious explanation. Cold drains batteries faster. That sounds reasonable. It also explains nothing, because if the cold truly used up the battery, the charge wouldn't return. Energy doesn't disappear and reappear like magic. So the battery didn't die. It was prevented. To understand why, we need to let go of a comforting idea. The idea that a battery is a container of energy that slowly empties. That picture is wrong. A battery is not a tank. It's a chemical negotiation. And cold interferes with that negotiation in a very specific way. Let's strip this down to fundamentals. Inside your phone battery are two electrodes and an electrolyte between them. The battery works because charged particles move. When you use your phone, lithium ions travel through the electrolyte while electrons flow through the circuit powering your screen, processor, and radio. That motion is the battery. No motion, no power. Now here's the first intuition breaker. Temperature doesn't change how much energy is stored in the battery. It changes how easily that energy can move. Cold slows motion at the microscopic level. Molecules vibrate less. Chemical reactions proceed more reluctantly. The pathways that ions use to travel through the electrolyte become more resistant. Think of it this way. Your battery always has energy, but energy is useless if it can't reach where it's needed fast enough. Cold doesn't steal energy. It raises the price of access. As the battery cools, the internal resistance rises. That means every attempt to draw power causes a larger voltage drop inside the battery itself. Your phone doesn't measure how much energy is left. It measures voltage. Voltage is the pressure pushing electrons through the circuit. When voltage drops below a critical threshold, the phone shuts down. Not because the battery is empty, but because the pressure is too low to operate safely. In the cold, this happens early. The battery still holds energy, but the chemical reactions can't keep up with the demand. Voltage sags. The phone panics. Power off. That's why warming the phone revives it. You didn't recharge anything. You restored chemical mobility. This already breaks most people's understanding. But there's a deeper layer. Your phone doesn't draw power steadily. It draws power in bursts. Checking messages is light work. Opening apps, loading data, maintaining a cellular connection. Those are spikes. Cold batteries hate spikes. When the processor suddenly demands power, ions must rush to keep up. In the cold, they can't. The voltage collapses temporarily, triggering shutdown even if the average battery level looks fine. This is why your phone might survive idle use in the cold but die the moment you open the camera. The battery didn't change. The demand did. Now notice something subtle. This behavior isn't a flaw. It's a safety feature. Lithium-ion batteries are fragile systems. If voltage drops too far under load, continuing to draw current can damage the battery permanently. So your phone shuts down early to protect itself. Your phone is not telling you, "I'm empty." It's telling you, "I can't safely deliver what you're asking for right now." Cold turns batteries from energetic systems into cautious ones. Now here's where Feynman's way of thinking matters. Instead of asking, "Why does cold kill batteries?" you ask, "What must be happening inside for this behavior to appear?" And the answer is, motion slowed enough that cause and effect at the chemical level can't keep up with electronic demand. The battery is still full of potential, but potential without access is useless. Think about how misleading your intuition is here. You experience a phone dying, you infer a loss, but nothing was lost. The system simply refused to cooperate under changed conditions. This pattern appears everywhere in physics. A superconductor stops conducting when warmed. A fluid stops flowing when viscosity rises. A chemical reaction stalls when temperature drops. Energy is still present. Freedom of movement is not. Cold doesn't destroy systems. It freezes pathways. Your phone battery is a pathway system. And this explains something else you've probably noticed. Phones die faster in cold, not just because of chemistry, but because the phone itself is working harder. Cold environments often mean weaker signals. Weaker signals force the phone's radio to transmit at higher power. Higher power means larger current spikes. Larger spikes mean deeper voltage dips. In the cold, those dips cross shutdown thresholds faster. The environment and the battery conspire. Cold slows delivery. The phone asks for more. Collapse becomes inevitable. And now we reach the key insight. Battery percentage is not a measure of energy, it's a model. Your phone estimates remaining charge based on voltage behavior under assumed conditions. Cold violates those assumptions. The model breaks. The phone guesses wrong. That's why percentages jump. That's why batteries come back. That's why shutdown feels sudden. You trusted a number that was never fundamental. Feynman warned about this kind of mistake constantly. He hated explanations that stopped at labels. Battery died is a label. The real explanation lives in mechanisms. Cold doesn't kill your battery. It reveals how fragile the agreement is between chemistry and electronics. And once you see that, you realize the cold isn't special at all. It's just one way to remind you that systems only work within the conditions they were designed for. In the next section, we're going to push this further, past phones and into a more uncomfortable realization. Your intuition about energy storage and running out is wrong in far more places than batteries. Cold just makes the mistake visible. Tell me when you want section 2. Let's take the misunderstanding apart completely, because the biggest mistake people make about phone batteries in the cold isn't about temperature. It's about what they think power is. You believe power is something you have and then lose. That idea is so natural it feels undeniable, and it's deeply wrong. Power is not possession. Power is permission. A battery does not hand energy to your phone. It allows energy to flow under certain conditions. Cold doesn't remove energy. It revokes permission. Once you see that, the behavior of your phone stops feeling mysterious and starts feeling inevitable. Let's talk about battery percentage, because this number is doing more psychological damage than almost any other. Your phone shows a percentage as if it were a fuel gauge. That's a lie your brain loves. There is no sensor inside your phone that measures remaining energy directly. None. It can't. Energy isn't a thing you can scoop out and weigh. Your phone estimates charge by watching voltage behavior and comparing it to a model. That model assumes temperature, load patterns, and internal resistance are within expected ranges. Cold breaks those assumptions. When the battery gets cold, internal resistance rises. Voltage under load drops faster than expected. The phone's estimation algorithm interprets that drop as depletion, not because depletion happened, but because depletion is the only explanation the model knows, so the percentage plunges. Your brain sees the number and concludes the battery died. In reality, the phone lost confidence in its own prediction. This is why batteries recover indoors. Warm the battery, resistance falls, voltage rebounds, and the model updates. Suddenly the phone finds energy that was supposedly gone. Nothing magical happened. Only the model stopped panicking. Now let's zoom out. The phrase running out of power sneaks in a dangerous assumption that systems fail because resources vanish. Most real systems fail for a different reason. They fail because rates collapse. Cold slows rates. Chemical reactions, ion diffusion, charge transfer. Everything still exists. It just can't happen fast enough. Your phone doesn't need energy eventually. It needs energy now. The moment-to-moment demand matters more than total capacity. This is why a nearly full cold battery can die instantly under load, while a warm, nearly empty battery can limp along. Availability beats abundance. Now think about how counterintuitive that is. You were taught that quantity matters most. Physics says access matters more. This pattern repeats everywhere. A dam full of water is useless if the gate is closed. A city full of food starves if transport freezes. A brain full of ideas fails if signals can't propagate. Cold is a gate-closing condition. Your phone battery in winter is a perfect demonstration of a deeper truth. Energy is meaningless without mobility. Now let's talk about why this feels so wrong to you. Your intuition was shaped in a macroscopic world. When a fire went out, fuel was gone. When muscles tired, energy stores were depleted. Those experiences trained your brain to equate failure with exhaustion, but modern systems don't behave that way. Lithium-ion batteries are microscopic negotiation chambers. They rely on precise timing and coordinated movement. They are less like campfires and more like traffic networks. And cold causes traffic jams. Ions pile up, pathways clog, pressure drops. No one ran out of cars. They just can't move. Your phone shutting off is not collapse, it's gridlock. Now consider this unsettling fact. Your phone is lying to protect itself. When voltage dips, the phone doesn't say, "I'm cold." It says, "I'm empty." Why? Because it doesn't trust you. It knows you'll keep demanding power. It knows continuing operation could permanently damage the battery. So it shuts down early and frames it as depletion, because depletion sounds final. The lie works. You stop. This means the behavior you interpret as failure is actually conservatism. Cold doesn't kill the battery. It exposes how close to the edge the system always was. Now let's introduce one more concept that breaks intuition: usable energy. Total energy in a battery is irrelevant. What matters is how much energy can be delivered above a minimum voltage threshold at a given moment. Cold reduces usable energy without touching total energy. That distinction matters. It's the same reason a frozen engine won't start even though the fuel tank is full. Combustion chemistry needs motion. Cold removes motion. The system still contains potential. It just can't express it. Now notice how similar this is to what you saw with chocolate melting and cold water tasting better. In all cases, the failure is not about having less. It's about slower processes. Your intuition keeps reaching for quantities. Reality keeps operating on rates. Feynman loved pointing out this mismatch. He warned that when you substitute labels for mechanisms, you lose the ability to predict behavior. Battery died sounds explanatory. It isn't. It hides the real variables. Cold funds don't teach you about batteries. They teach you about your own misunderstanding. They show you that energy enters STEEB, availability, storage, delivery, quantity enters STEEB, performance. Once you see that, you stop being surprised by recovery, fluctuation, and sudden shutdowns. You stop treating the world like a container problem and start seeing it as a flow problem. And that prepares you for the final step. Because in the last section, we're going to step beyond phones entirely and confront the most uncomfortable implication of all. Your own mental energy, motivation, and burnout follow the same rules as your battery in the cold. Nothing is running out. Something is slowing down. And once you understand that, you stop fighting the wrong enemy. Say the word when you want section 3. Now comes the part that's hardest to accept, because the rule that explains why your phone battery dies faster in the cold is the same rule you've been using to misunderstand yourself. You think you get tired because you run out of energy. You think you lose focus because motivation is gone. You think burnout means something inside you is empty. That mental model feels obvious. It's also wrong. Just like your phone, you don't fail because energy disappears. You fail because access slows. Your brain is not a battery. It's a flow system. And cold, literal or metaphorical, breaks flow long before it empties reserves. Think about what cold actually did to your phone. The energy was still there. The charge still existed. The system shut down because delivery became unsafe, inefficient, or unstable. Your phone didn't collapse. It protected itself. Now think about how humans behave under stress, fatigue, isolation, or pressure. Focus drops. Motivation collapses. Everything feels harder. Your instinctive explanation is depletion. I'm drained. I have nothing left. But if that were true, recovery wouldn't work the way it does. A short break restores clarity. A walk revives thinking. Sleep resets ability far beyond what recharging metaphors can explain. Nothing was empty. The pathways were congested. Your nervous system, like your phone battery, has thresholds. When demand spikes faster than delivery can keep up, the system throttles. Attention narrows. Effort feels expensive. Everything becomes harder not because capacity vanished, but because the cost of access rose. Cold didn't kill your phone. Stress didn't kill your motivation. They raised resistance. This is why pushing harder often backfires. When your phone is cold and struggling, demanding more, opening apps, turning up brightness, causes faster shutdown. The solution isn't force. It's warming the system, lowering resistance, restoring flow. Humans work the same way. When you're mentally cold, stressed, underslept, overloaded, pushing harder increases resistance. Focus collapses faster. Motivation shuts down earlier. The system protects itself by refusing to deliver. Burnout is not emptiness, it's a safety shutdown. This reframes everything. Rest isn't refilling a tank, it's restoring access. Sleep doesn't add energy like fuel. It reduces resistance everywhere at once. That's why sleep feels miraculous. It doesn't slowly refill anything. It suddenly unlocks pathways. Now look back at the phone battery indicator. That percentage misled you because it pretended to measure something fundamental. It didn't. It measured behavior under assumptions. Your self-assessments do the same thing. I'm at 20%. I'm almost empty. I'm done. Those are stories built from surface signals, not mechanisms. And just like the phone, your internal model panics under conditions it wasn't designed for. Cold breaks phones because they're optimized for room temperature. Modern life breaks humans because we're optimized for a different environment. Constant stimulation, persistent cognitive load, artificial urgency, no true recovery. These conditions don't drain you. They raise internal resistance until delivery fails. That's why motivation can return instantly under the right conditions. A new context, a change in temperature, light, movement, a moment of safety. Nothing was missing. The gate reopened. This is why Feynman's way of thinking matters far beyond physics. He refused to accept explanations that ended with labels. Tired, dead battery, out of energy. Those words feel explanatory, but they stop inquiry too early. The real question is always, what is preventing motion? In batteries, it's slowed ion diffusion. In humans, it's cognitive friction. Once you ask that question, solutions change. You stop chasing motivation. You reduce resistance. You stop blaming depletion. You adjust conditions. You stop demanding more output. You restore flow. Cold makes phones fail visibly. Life makes humans fail quietly. But the rule is the same. Systems don't collapse because they're empty. They collapse because they can't move fast enough to meet demand. And the most dangerous mistake is to interpret that collapse as loss instead of protection. Your phone shut down to avoid damage. Your brain disengages to do the same. Once you see that, frustration turns into strategy. You stop asking, why am I out of energy? You ask, what's slowing access? That question is power. It applies to batteries, bodies, and minds. And that's the final intuition breaker. Cold didn't teach you something about phones. It revealed the rule you've been misapplying everywhere else. Energy isn't the problem. Flow is. And once you understand that, you stop fighting exhaustion and start designing conditions where systems, including you, are allowed to work.